NASCAR 25 official gameplay is here, and before we deep dive into this, I want you guys to just listen to the cars.
Get some practice in. Let's see what the car wants out there. Stay patient.
Right off the bat, you hear the roar of the Xfinity car, and honestly, it sounds fantastic. You also heard the spotter. I believe that one was Josh Williams. We've got official NASCAR 25 gameplay, and we're going to be just talking about everything we've seen that NASCAR 25 just posted in a playthrough with Anthony Alfredo, where he drove his 42 Xfinity Series car at Homestead, Miami for a race, and he also takes Alex Bowman's number 48 Next Gen Cup Series Chevrolet to Richmond Raceway and does a race there that we're going to be taking a look at. The main things we're looking at here today is, well, how does the car handle, graphics, AI specifically as well, and I've already watched this through one time to kind of get an idea, and I'm pretty excited. Remember yesterday when I said you needed to be hesitantly excited? No, the excitement is real now, and I can confirm that this is not the only gameplay video breakdown I have coming today due to the just gracious attitude of Jeff Fabiano. He's got a gameplay video coming out probably around the same time this video goes live, and I'll be doing a deep dive on his gameplay as well, as he actually gave me permission to use his footage, so I'm very thankful for that, as we'll be doing a deep dive there. But right off the bat, I don't even think we're going to need to slow this video down today, because they just take their time to show raw gameplay and show us everything we need to see. There you see the 42 catch the outside wall. So of course Alfredo's playing on a controller, and one thing that caught me there was how the car kind of slid off the wall a little bit, like it went down like 3 grooves. Now that is a question of, is that the weirdness of the controller, or was that just Alfredo overreacting? That's where it's hard to tell, of course, until you have the game in your hands yourself. But you see some of this pre-race presentation, and of course you see the car getting fired up, and all the field of Xfinity cars ready to go racing as the green flag would drop, and we get underway here. You see a bit of a weird glare, of course, these like lens flares that are kind of on the screen from the sun. These look a bit weird at times, but overall not too bad. And let's just look at the game graphically right there. In terms of graphics, game looks super good. It's not incredible, but good. I like what I see here. It's really slick looking. You see when he catches the outside wall, there's some sparks flying outside of the right side. That's good to see. And now really pay attention here, and this is where the game is already winning me over today, is the AI. So I've had a lot of concerns with the AI, because of course this is Monster Games coming together with iRacing. Monster Games always did an incredible job of the NASCAR Heat Series with their AI, in my opinion, but iRacing, I have always thought their AI was pretty awful, to be completely blunt honest. I thought it was terrible on the ovals, and here, well, they join forces, and I'm seeing much more of a NASCAR Heat type AI influence versus iRacing AI, and that is awesome, because like I said, honestly, I thought the best thing about the Heat games was the AI. You see a few cars going up towards the outside wall. Daniel Dye there in the Colleague number 10 builds up a little momentum, but not a lot. I feel like there should be some more momentum that you can build up there on the outside line, so that's something I take away immediately that should maybe be worked on. You see as well Jeff Burton up there, but you see Alfredo dive to the inside of Matt Benedetto. Right off the bat, you can see the AI are giving you room. That's a good sign right off the bat, because that's been a struggle in previous NASCAR games as well. So they acknowledge you, and on top of that, you see that as they go down into the corners, you're looking up ahead, and they're not all just planted to the same line. You got guys that are all kind of running for this bottom lane, but they're all running the bottom lane in like 3 different kind of positions. Maybe even more than that, but that's right off the bat a great sign. You're going through some different camera views here. You got the dude wipes on board. This is the hood camera. Wait till you see the roof camera in action. I mean, I am a fanboy of roof cameras, and you're about to see how awesome it looks. But you can see again as Alfredo went to the outside, I believe that was Dean Thompson in the 26, just, you know, plenty of room being left. He's pushing Sawallich down the straightaway. The AI aren't acting weird when you're running into the back of him, which is good. Alfredo ripping the wall here. Now, like I said, he is playing on controller, and it's hard to get an idea of how it really plays because you don't know how he is on a controller. I feel like this one's something you have to wait until I have it in my hands to really have an idea. Now, this is what I don't like, the cockpit camera. The camera is definitely too low, and then the steering wheel inputs are way too wonky, and they turn way too sharply. That's something that I would like to see them work on, because that does not look good. That's like one of my biggest nitpicks. When my biggest nitpick of this video is the cockpit camera and how much the steering wheel turns, I think that tells you we're in really good hands for this game. And I just want to say, you know, a huge shout out to NASCAR 25 for doing this gameplay the right way, showing us raw gameplay, not cutting anything out, nothing to hide. This is the right way to do it, to give players a true honest feel of what we're getting. And yeah, I just want to say thank you to them for doing it this way. So once again, you see Alfredo working their way through traffic. I can confirm this was not on the hardest difficulty in the game, so that is also promising, because I was a bit concerned at first. I was like, man, he is absolutely flying through this grid, and I can tell he's not, you know, perfect at the game, and he's still able to fly through, but I can confirm this is not the hardest difficulty. Passing Daniel Suarez, so I guess this kind of gives us confirmation. We have some maybe weird part-timers, you know, all throughout, because Suarez only did Mexico, and here he is doing Miami, so that's a bit weird. But that was the final lap of the race, and you see the race results screen. I think this looks really good. I was really hoping they would go into the replay, but they didn't. But yeah, just the simple leaderboard looks really slick, and then they would actually move on to Richmond. Now, when I have my video out later, you're going to get to hear some raw engine sounds and some spotter, but for this one, it's just mainly commentary. But right off the bat, I wanted to see some car contact, because we didn't see that in the first race, and that's a big thing to me, is how do the cars react for the player when you make contact. And we're actually going to see some here, right here on the exit of turn 2. That looks okay. You know, I was worried the car might ping pong and fly all over the place. No, the contact happens, and the car just, it stays relatively stable. So it looks like, you know, you can make some contact door to door, and your car is not going to fly all over the place like the Heat series, for example. So everything I'm seeing is a really, really exciting step in the right direction for NASCAR gaming here today. Now, Alfredo again here on controller at Richmond. Right off the bat, it looked like it was his first time playing, because he was kind of struggling in the first couple of corners, but once he seemed to kind of get into the rhythm, the controller looked pretty smooth for the most part. So like I said, it's still too hard. You know, I want to have the controller in my hands to really get an idea, and I'm going to be playing this game on a controller for the first month while it's on console, and I'm waiting for it to be on PC. Then I can of course play it on my wheel. So I'm gonna have to actually put some time in on getting decent on a controller for the first time, especially for my career mode, but multiplayer as well. But you're gonna notice Alfredo, he's kind of moving around the racetrack there, and once again the cockpit, same kind of situation. The wheel just, it moves so kind of jerky, and it moves so sharp, and it moves a lot, and I feel like it turns too much. So but yeah, I mean, the overall cockpit, this looks pretty well identical to the next gen cockpit in iRacing, so that's very, very similar. And outside of that as well, you're a lot closer to the dash of the car. Now, we've seen a setting in the game in previews that looks like you can change the dash in the next gen car, so maybe overall HUD as well, but nonetheless, we get racing now here at Richmond. You see the time of day has changed. We still don't have confirmation if there's proper day to night transitions. I would like to hope so, because this is 2025, and I feel like that would be quite a shock if they don't have proper day to night transitions. I am actually going to be really annoyed if I get my hands on the game and we find out that the transitions are between stages like the Heat series. That would get on my nerves a lot, but it's better than nothing. But nonetheless, Bowman working his way through, or Alfredo I guess I should say, here into turn 1, and once again the AI, one of the things I'm noticing here is, once again from previous games like the Heat series, is they would run, for whatever reason, at a track like Richmond, you'd have AI jump up to the outside wall, run 3 lanes out of the way, and kill their lap times. And I'm not noticing that here. It looks like everyone is running the lanes that, you know, they need to be running to stay fast, but they're all doing it in a non, you know, kind of robotic, non-planted way. The AI feel like they are race car drivers. They don't feel like they're just, okay, you're trying to run this exact lane or this second lane. No, they're all kind of moving around a little bit, fighting for the same kind of space on the bottom. As you see some contact here with the 77, go figure. And then he moves Hocevar out of the way, actually. Nice to see someone finally giving it back to Carson Hocevar, racing like he does. But no, all jokes aside, that looked pretty decent. However, I would have liked to see the 77 kind of, when he got knocked out of the way right there, that was a pretty good move. I think that should have kind of knocked him out of control more. So it seems like maybe the AI a little bit too planted on car-to-car contact, but that's just one little example. I'd need to see more, but I mean, just from that one, it kind of looked like that 77 was really, really planted after kind of getting, you know, ruffled up and whatnot. But outside of that, once again, the AI are consistent compared to what we just saw in Miami. You see the draft. When you're in the draft, the speedometer actually turns blue on the bottom right of the screen. So just kind of indicating like, hey, you have the draft. You see in the top corners, of course, lap count and the position count. Honestly, I think those are too small. I think they should increase the size of those. Honestly, they should increase the size of those in the track map in the bottom left. I feel like it's a little bit too small as well. Maybe we can hopefully customize that and of course get it to the size that we want, but graphically, again, the game looks great. You got these kind of lens flares here coming onto the screen. They don't look too bad. I think they look okay, and it just, you know, adds a little bit of kind of just that little slick look to the game. And graphically, I mean, I can't really complain about anything that I'm seeing so far in terms of the graphics of the game. I think it's up to par. It's up to standard of what we should expect. The shadows look really good as well. A few times throughout this Richmond race, the FPS looks slightly choppy, but outside of that, I think that's maybe my only nitpick of what I'm seeing there. But again, the AI leaving room for the two. Now, I do wonder if, like, the one thing I'm noticing here is, and this could be because it's not on the hardest difficulty, but there's no confirmation anywhere on that, is they're not really putting up much of a fight. It just seems like Alfredo can kind of get there, and he's just kind of cruising past them. But at the same time, like I said, I'm just thinking of my previous NASCAR gaming experience in my career modes is, well, they don't really put up much of a fight when you're way faster than them. You saw him move the 19 right out of the way right there. I want to take a slow look at it. So he hit him once, doesn't really budge, and he's going to hit him right here again. You see the sparks coming out. You see the 19 get unsettled a little bit, and then one more hit right here. The 48's even sliding. The 19's moving up the racetrack, and he kind of has that little jerky moment where he almost like loses it a little bit. Still feel like that, once again, that's another example. They definitely seem too planted, but at least there was some movement there. But the 48 doesn't even get alongside until turn one. Then he just drives right by him. But he overdrives the corner. Now, can the 19 cross over? Even on the non-hardest difficulty, the 19 does come back and cross him over. So that's good to see right there. They come in and fight back at you. And then again into turn 3, I mean, he just drives down on the apron. He leans into the 19, some contact there. You see the 19 moving, but overall, like I said, I think this is just kind of proving how planted the AI seems. So, yeah, there's some really, really great takeaways from the AI today, but the one thing I would like improved on just based off of the gameplay we have today is that right there. The AI seem a little bit too planted when the player themselves is just kind of running into them. So that's the one thing I would like to see worked on. We're coming to the final lap already, and my final thoughts of this gameplay is I'm excited. We are in good hands, and I've got more gameplay breakdowns coming later with Jeff Fabiano's video, and I'm super excited to see what he's going to be putting out as well. Like I said, this is probably going to go out hopefully around the same time his video goes out. But final thoughts, it looks great visually. The AI look fun. The controller play looks pretty solid, but it's hard to speak on that until I have my hands and you guys have your hands on a controller and playing the actual game. But everything looks smooth. Clearly, they have, in my opinion, silenced a lot of doubters, because if you watch this gameplay and you still complain about it, I really don't know what you're looking for, because this is a great first step to NASCAR 25, and I'm really, really excited for what's coming in the future. And I as well have some news hopefully to share with you guys as soon as next week. I can't say right now what it is, but stay on the lookout, because I think I'm going to have some exciting things to share in the coming week myself. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. We got another breakdown coming later, and I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts, and have a great day.